Thank you so much, Vandana. I'm truly humbled with your gracious introduction. And I was today just thinking, it is the education who brought us closer to each other, even with Rohit Jain, Namneet, with you. And then we had various discourses. We learned from each other so much. And during SPA Delhi days, SPA Vijayawada days, and NIT Hamidpur days. Yeah, it is again on the discourse of the education that we are meeting again on this platform. I'm very truly delighted to be the part of this, which is a very pertinent topic on the faculty development program, jointly organized by Council of Architecture Training and Research Center and MBS School of Planning and Architecture. And the theme for the topic is very pertinent. It's the outcome-based education and practices in architecture and planning education. And it is really truly pertinent, and I will be speaking on NEP today. So I would like to share my screen. 1 second, give me some time to share it. Can you see my screen, Vandana?
Yes, Minakshi, I can see. Yes, Dr. Minakshi.
Okay, yeah.
The screen is visible.
1 second,
Absolutely.
Just try to enlarge it. Yeah. So it is a role of National
Perfect.
Education Policy 2020 for architecture and planning disciplines. This course is jointly organized by Council of Architecture Training and Research Center and MBS School of Planning and Architecture, Delhi. So my structure of my presentation would be, I'll be speaking on education, the various views of the researchers, scientists, and the various national leaders on it, and the significance of education, the ancient Indian education system. I'll be speaking on that also regarding the Gurukul and regarding our university system, earlier days, and the English education system, how there were changes from the ancient education system to the English education system. Then how we had the different policies. We had the policies in 68 and 86. The respective policies were there before NEP came in 2020. And what were those limitations of the education system earlier? And now we are in the implementation stage for 2020. And what is the need for NEP? What is the concept and essence of NEP 2020? Salient features of NEP we'll discuss, and how can we implement? Because we all are in the process of making certain changes to the architecture and planning pedagogy, and how it will be helpful that we take the outline of national education policy and try to implement into our architecture and planning disciplines. So about education, we have the different leaders. We have the physicist, which is world renowned, Albert Einstein. And according to him, education is not learning of facts, but the training of mind to think. The President Nelson Mandela for South Africa, he says, education is the most powerful weapon which you can use to change the world. Our second President of India, Dr. Sarvapalli Radhakrishnan, he said that he's a very renowned teacher as well. The end product of education should be a free creative mind who can battle against all odd circumstances and adversities of nature. As per the very word famous poet and author Rabindranath Tagore, he says the highest education is that which does not merely give us information, but makes a life in harmony to all the existence. And the famous journalist Sidney J. Harris says the whole purpose of education is to turn mirrors into windows. And a very Chinese proverb goes like this: if you are a planning for a year, sow rice. If you are planning for a decade, plant trees. And if you are planning for a lifetime, educate people. So these are the various viewpoints I wanted to bring it to your the knowledge of all the participants. So this is the importance of the education and the quotes which are being given by our national leaders and the various world-renowned poet and the scientists. Education as such, when we have to give the significance and the importance of education, that is very much clear, because education is a tool which provides us with the knowledge, with the skills, with our duties as well as our rights towards the family, society, nation. It also expands the vision and outlook to see the world. It develops the capability to fight against various evils of the society. So if we really want to live in a good society, good nation, surely we have to educate each and everyone. Education also gives us the knowledge of the world around us, and it gives us an idea. It gives us more ideas to explore, how to explore more ideas, and it is with the help of the ideas that we will have the creativity, and without the creativity, there's no development of the nation. So it is very much important, if we really want to develop the nation, we need to educate each and everyone. And education is fundamental for achieving full human potential, developing an equitable and just society, and promoting national development. Providing universal access to quality education is the key to India's economic growth, social justice, quality, scientific advancement, national integration, and cultural preservation. This is as per NEP, National Education Policy, says it's a fundamental for achieving the full human potential. Higher education significantly contributes towards sustainable livelihood and economic development of the nation as India moves towards becoming a knowledge economy, and society, more and more young Indian aspires for the higher education. So we, in India system, we have the two types of education system, Gurukul and Vishwavidhalaya. Gurukul, as we all understand, in the ancient India, the disciple used to go to Guru. He used to stay closer to Guru, and he used to get the knowledge on the different kind of subjects such as astronomy, mathematics, even science and Vedic literature, medicine, etc. And India is very famous for its university system, Nalanda University, Takshila, Kanchi, Jain. All those universities are very, very, very much famous even today, where in the different universities, they used to study the subject like phonetics, grammar, astronomy, economics, laws, art of warfare, fine arts. And below you see the Gurukul system, where all the subjects were being taught. And you can see Guru giving the education to the disciples, and how the different type of, they are being getting the knowledge of the nature, and the knowledge of economics, the knowledge of astronomy, and other kind of art, fine arts. All of these were being taught into the Gurukul. And when Guru thought, like, now the education is completed and the disciple will leave, giving the Guru its Guru Dakshina. And this is the ancient Guru system, and it is very much famous in India. And the disciples also used to learn music, art, archery, yoga, literature, and different type of subjects. But in today, we have been working in the different silos, where science students do not know much about the arts, and architecture. Of course, architecture is the mother of all arts. We still are being able to know the different disciplines, but still, we have not been. We have to make it more inclusive. We have to make it more equitable, so that it should be universalization should happen in architecture as well. So the different type of subjects which are being taught is already been said. It is even from mathematics to metaphysics were also being taught in Gurukuls. And for a long time period, the disciple used to stay with the Guru, and all kind of subject matters were being discussed. Whatever the disciple wanted, the Guru had used to teach him, and or whatever Guru wanted, he thought when at a point when he thought he has given enough learning to his shishya, then he'll ask him to leave. And this is how the system of the Guru Shishya Parampara is very much old in our system, and it is very well known also in the world itself also. And the various types of university which have been very famous, and they are ancient universities, and India is the only country to have the university education in the ancient times, and that is the reason they were being shattered by the invaders. So we had the different universities were Ratnagiri University, Vikramshila University, Jagdala University, Pushpagiri University, Antapuri, Somapuri, Nalanda, Takshila, Vallabhi, Bikrampur University. All these universities are remains that you can see in these photographs, and where the education was multidisciplinary education, and the research was also being pursued there. And now what is now wanted from the NEP is we want to urgently bring back the old Indian tradition, so that we are able to produce individuals which are well-rounded, and we can transform them in all aspects, including economically, we can transform our country, and educationally, we can transform our country. This is the essence of the new education policy. As per the Banabhat's Kadambari, it has described the good education as knowledge of the 64 colors or arts. And these 64 arts, which again, I will retreat, it is scientific fields such as chemistry and mathematics, vocational fields such as carpentry, cloth making, professional fields, medicine and engineering, soft skill, communication, discussion and debate. So these 64 arts, they were included, they were all put together. Even research was also the major component in all our ancient systems. And the Bharat was known as the Vishwaguru because of its the various kinds of education system that it had, and the various kind of arts it used to provide to its students, that the world renowned people, they used to come and to get the study from India. But later on, there were various changes happened in our education system, and the modern education system came to India during the East India Company days. It was Thomas Babington Macaulay who brought the English education system in our system. It was in the English Education Act 1835, which was being passed in the British Parliament, so that they were not able to spend on the Oriental education or the Eastern-based education, because they considered this education system to be inferior. So they tried to shut down all colleges where the Eastern philosophy and subjects were being taught, and they wanted to bring the Western education in all parts of the institutes of India. So it was at that point of time in 1835 that we had the English education system, and our present system also, we had certain policies are still there, but the impact of an English education system is still being felt into our present system until we go for the implementation of the NEP 2020. There were two national education policies post-independence in 1968 and 1986. The first education policy of India was in 1968. It was during the in the government of India, Prime Minister Indira Gandhi in 1968. And the another one was during Rajiv Gandhi's time period in 1986. And the third one is now with our present Honorable Prime Minister of India in 2020 by Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji. And this first education policy, which was in 1968, it was being, it was being brought by the Kothari Commission. And the Kothari Commission examined all aspects of education sector in India from 1964 to 1966, and later on it was announced in 1968. The more stress was being put on the moral education and inculcation of sense of social responsibility. Focus was also given on the regional languages, and in 1968 it was being resolved to increase the investment on education to be a 6% of the gross domestic product. And whereas in 2018 also, the investment on education could not increase more than 2.7%. And it's a far cry from the 6% 5 decades ago. In 1986, the different kind of emphasis was being put up. It was the removal of disparity and sought equalization of educational opportunities for the specific disadvantaged groups, removal of illiteracy from among women, education of scheduled caste and tribe minorities, the disabled and handicapped through non-formal and adult education programs. So the emphasis in 1986 as well as 1968, there were different emphasis were being put up, and it was being brought by the different commissions. And the next policy, now we have the present education policy thereafter in 2020. But what were the various limitations of the present education system was it was highly fragmented educational system. it gives the less emphasis on the development of cognitive skills and learning outcomes, and there is a rigid separation of disciplines is there, and there are socio-economic disadvantage areas where there is a limited access of the education. They are not being able to be helped under the present education system. There's a limited teacher and institutional autonomy, inadequate mechanism for progression of faculty and institutional leaders. There are not good methodology or mechanisms which are being involved for the development of the faculty and the institutional leaders. There is less emphasis on research at most of the universities, and there is suboptimal governance in respect to the regulatory system. And there are large number of colleges which are affiliated to the universities, and there is much less control, or the low standard of the undergraduate education is there because of the control is not much by the affiliating universities, because they have to handle a lot of institutes. So this present education system, this one visual which shows like the student is more interested in to learn to become a wildlife photographer, but the dad wants him to be an engineer. This happens in most of our houses, that we are not being allowed to pursue our interest. So this is also the limitation of the present education system. Other problem of the our education system is most of the time when we are not able to learn the concepts, the teacher says Ratta Marlo as a learning method. And this is being depicted very nicely in a movie called Three Idiots. This movie had been very popular. And where the students give the speeches without understanding the subject matter. So our present system teaches us, if we are not able to understand the concept, then mug up the entire book and we have to reproduce. If we reproduce the entire thing in the examination paper, we'll be good rank holders. So this is also the limitation of the present education system. You just see here some fair selection is happening, but how the fair selection happens? The different species has a different type of abilities, but they are being asked to pass one examination. Just see this, they have all to climb one tree. Even the second visual, it shows, how the different students are focused towards one test, but for some other student, he's more interested with the arts, but the teacher wants, child, why do you want to be away from the rest of the children? You will be left behind. Do you really want to left behind? So and tries that he should also come in the league of the different students. So these are the limitations that we have. Regulatory systems, there are so many regulatory systems are there that we do not know what to listen, what not to listen. And regarding the present education system, we don't have much autonomy for the teachers, for the institutions. Inadequate mechanism is there for the progression of faculty and institutional leaders. There is a lesser emphasis on the research, as has already been said in the most of the universities and colleges. Suboptimal governance is there, and leadership is ineffective regulatory systems. Large affiliating universities, they are having a lot of colleges. This is what is the limitations of the present education system. Why do we need new education policy? Because the world over, we have the different type of employment landscape, and the global ecosystem is also changing. And we require now, to cope up with the new world, we require the high order skills such as creativity, critical thinking, problem solving, visualization, and idea generation. Need for a holistic education across sciences, social sciences, arts, humanities, and sports for a multidisciplinary world. The today's time is a multidisciplinary time, and in order to ensure the unity and integrity of all knowledge systems. This is what had happened in our earlier system, our traditional system, or our ancient Indian system was the same, where we used to learn everything of every aspect. Our education was multidisciplinary. So why do we need the new education policies also to bring our dropouts into the mainstream, facilitating multiple pathways of learning involving both formal and informal education, and the modes of association of counselor and or well-trained? With the help of the different counselors and well-trained, we want to bring our dropouts back to the mainstream, and by providing them with the robust infrastructure support, innovative education centers, And we also want to offer the flexibility to the learners so that they are able to choose their own career and the learning trajectories according to their talents and interests. What is a new education policy? A new education policy was approved by the Union Cabinet of India on 29 July 2020. It outlines a vision of India's new education system. The new policy replaces the National Education Policy of 1986. It was the last policy that we had, and now we have, after 34 years, we have the new education policies, which was being passed, approved in the Union Cabinet on 29 July 2020. This policy transforms India's education system by 2040 and creates world-class institutions across the country, increase the gross enrollment ratio at least by 50% by 2035. It will bring a new vision and architecture for higher education with large, well-resourced, vibrant, multidisciplinary institutions, equitable access to the highest quality education for all learners, regardless of social or economic background. And it also proposes for the universalization of education for all children from the age of 3 to 18 years. The curriculum, the objective of the NEP is to include basic craft, arts, humanities, games, sports and fitness, languages, culture and values, in addition to science and mathematics, to develop all aspects and capabilities of learners. Education must build character, enable learners to be ethical, rational, compassionate, and caring, while at the same time, they should be prepared for gainful and fulfilling employment. The aim and objectives of NEP 2020 is recognizing, identifying, and fostering the unique capabilities of each student by sensitizing teachers as well as parents to promote each student's holistic development in both academic and non-academic spheres. It's been often seen in the architecture colleges. The students are generally being asked, now you unlearn whatever you have learned, and then you will put them into a different kind of mold only altogether. So it is believed that each and every student will bring some kind of asset will bring some kind of culture, or has some inherent characteristics within him, which will be very much useful. So it will be useful for the teachers, for the nation, that all kind of qualities, whatever they have, or maybe what particular quality he has, it should be fostered, it should be nurtured by sensitizing the teachers. It is not that to unlearn everything and then you bring afresh. And secondly, the fragmentation of higher education system. We have smaller institutions, smaller, even some of the universities also, they are not having much students, intake is not there, and they're offering some, fragmented kind of disciplines. And now the aim of NEP is to bring all large multidisciplinary universities so that the intake should not be less than 3,000 of the students at least. This is to be realized anyhow by 2035 or 2040, that this is to be done, that all the universities will be multidisciplinary by 2030 and gross enrollment ratio will increase by 2040 or by 2035. There should not be any hard separations between the art and sciences, between curricular or extracurricular activities, vocational and academic streams, in order to eliminate harmful hierarchies among the silos between different areas of learning. So vocations, also different type of vocation and academic streams should also be very important. Normally what is happening, the vocations are being kept separately from the academic streams, and it is normally meant for the students who are 8th pass or beyond 8th pass, or maybe 10th and 11th or 11th 12th students, that you learn new vocation and there are no possibilities that they can be taken to the mainstream. So it is very important that both of these to be combined together so that the students should become skillful and they become employable by combining them with the different academic streams. So it is very important that there shouldn't be hard separation between the vocational courses, academic streams, between the art and sciences, between the curricular and extracurricular, they should all be able to come to the student in one university education so that they are able to develop, groom them. This is also in line with our new education policy 2020 is in line with Sustainable Development Goal 4. And we have 17 development goals which were established by United Nations in September 2015, and they are to be realized by 2030. This is a goal number 4, which talks about diverse ancient culture and traditional Indian knowledge systems. Our NEP also talks about it, and it also talks about the traditional knowledge systems of the Sustainable Development Goal also talk about the traditional knowledge system, and our NEP also talks about the diverse ancient culture and the traditional Indian knowledge system they need to bring for creating the vibrant knowledge societies. So the different type of challenges and how do we have the solutions for those kind of challenges, they are also being talked about in NEP. These are the different Sustainable Development Goals. Goal number 4, that, as I said, which talks about the quality education, and it talks about the ensure inclusive, equitable, quality education and promote lifelong learning opportunities for all. This is Sustainable Goal 4. And 4.1 talks about free primary and secondary education. 2 talks about equal access to quality pre-primary education, equal access to affordable technical, vocational, and higher education, increase the number of people with relevant skills for financial success, eliminate all discrimination in education, university literacy, universal literacy and numeracy. This is fundamental education system. It is very important. Education for sustainable development and global citizenship. Build and upgrade inclusive and safe schools. Expand higher education scholarship for developing countries. In NEP 2, we have the NSF, National Scholarship Schemes are available. Funding is available. Increase the supply of qualified teachers in developing countries. So this is all about Sustainable Development Goal number 4. So what are the vocational courses? How do we want to bring them? Normally, it is being taken up in the 12th, 5th year plan also in 2012 to 17, wherein it was being seen in the Indian workforce from the age group of 19 to 24, less than 5% students receive the vocational education, whereas in USA the number is 52%, and Germany it is 75%, and South Korea it is 96%. That means we are really lagging behind in our vocational education systems. And again, we are lagging behind. If we are lagging behind from the Sustainable Development Goal 4.4 also, wherein the number of students in vocational education will be considered while arriving at the global enrollment ratio, gross enrollment ratio targets. The development of vocational capacities will go hand in hand with the development of academic and other capacities. So it is very important that vocation need to be learned, and this can be in the form of carpentry, this can be in the form of tailoring, or maybe in masonry, some kind of skills, some of the other kind of skills, maybe the beauty related products or beauty related, or maybe some boutiques type of workshops, etc. To be learned by the students so that they are able to become skillful. It has been often seen that vocational education is always perceived to be inferior in the Indian education system, and largely it has been seen that there is no vertical mobility for the students. It's considered only for those people who have not been able to come to the mainstream or academic system. Vocational training is meant for those. Normally, it's largely focuses itself on the 11th and 12th grades, and normally from the dropouts of the 8th standard, and for the 11th and 12th, and there is no well-defined pathways are available if they really want to choose their fields in the higher education. The admission criteria for general higher education has also not been designed to provide the opening to the students who have the vocational educational qualification, and always they are at the disadvantage, and because there is no opening for them to the mainstream. So it is very much important that vocational training courses to be given the importance. which is in line with the Sustainable Development Goal 4 and with our national education policy also. Now, the another essence of the national education policy is access, equity, quality, affordability, and accountability. These policies are aligned to the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development and aim to transform India into vibrant knowledge society and global knowledge superpower by making school and education more holistic. The National Education Policy 2020 has emphasized on the use of mother tongue and local language as the medium of instruction till class 5, while recommending it continuous till class 8 and beyond. Sanskrit and foreign languages will also be given emphasis. So we have to learn the language in the local, because most of the time it is being thought that the ideas or the research comes into the local language. You think about the research or some ideas are being taught into your mother tongue. So it is important that the students to be taught till the class 5, or it is the recommendation still there that even we can continue with the higher education also with the mother tongue. So it is also taking a front seat during in the NEP. It is based upon the principle that education must not develop only the cognitive capacity, not only the development of brain exercises, but also the foundational capacities of literacy and numeracy and high order cognitive capacity, but also social, ethical, emotional capacity and disposition should also be increased. That means the reading, learning, its foundational capacities of literacy and numeracy is the mathematics, simple arithmetics should also be stronger to the students of till the primary education. And literacy is about the reading, learning, writing very well. So all those foundational capacities should be very strong. And it is not only that high preference to be given to the cognitive capacities, but the literacy and numeracy also should be given the priority. Education must move towards the less contents. It should be light but tight. More towards the learning about how to think critically, how to resolve the problems, how to creative and multidisciplinary, how to innovate, adapt and absorb new material in novel and changing fields. It must evolve to make the education more experiential, holistic, integrated, inquiry-driven, discovery-oriented, learner-centered, discussion-based, flexible, and of course, it should be enjoyable. These are all the principles of NEP. Critical thinking and creativity, unique capability of each student should be recognized by the teachers. Emphasize on the conceptual understanding, learning for exam with no note learning. Use of technology in teaching learning is given the higher priority here. Community participation, equity and inclusion to become the cornerstone for all educational decisions. Respect for diversity and local context to be reflected in all curriculum. Continuous review should be there, which should be built up on sustainable research and regular assessment by educational experts. So all these key principles are very important. They are the key principle for National Education Policy 2020. These are some of the essence, which are some of them are NIRF in aligned, and some of them have the scope for the National Institute of Ranking Framework alignment. Again, I'm repeating this, that 50% of the gross enrollment ratio, GER, to reach by 2035. At present, we have 26.3% in 2018 to 50% we have to realize by 2035. It is the enrollment ratio of the students. And holistic and multidisciplinary education is already been talked about. Technology in education, culture of research and knowledge creation, optimal learning environment, emphasis on creativity, sports, mental health and ethics, internalization, opening the door to the global university to set up campuses in India, support to bring more inclusivity, financial and mentorship for students of socioeconomic disadvantaged groups or backgrounds. There is one scheme of national scholarship funding, which also is a part of the NEP, which is to be given to the students who are socially and economically disadvantaged groups. Economically, faculty autonomy and freedom to innovate, restructure faculty role into a mentor rather than teaching duties alone. Mentoring has also been very important in this policy. Regulatory bodies consolidation, they will all be consolidated into one higher education commission. Institutional consolidation, simplify the HEI structure into universities, autonomous degree granting colleges, no more nomenclature such as deemed to be university, affiliating universities, etc. So these are all, again, the salient features or the essence of the NEP. This is the digital drive, technology in education. An autonomous body, the National Education Technology Forum, will be created, which is known as NFTE. NETF will be created to exchange the ideas on the use of the technology to enhance learning and assessment and planning and administration. A dedicated unit for the purpose of creating digital infrastructure, digital content and capacity building will be set up in the ministry. Integration of technology will be done to improve classroom processes. Financial support to be there for the minority, SC, ST, OBC and the other socially and economically disadvantaged groups will be given the incentive. Standalone technical universities, health sciences university, legal and agriculture university will aim to become multidisciplinary institutions with time, and all the disadvantaged groups will be given the financial support, and education and the technology at all the levels we have been given the prime importance here. What are the salient features of NEP? It is all about multiple entry and exit options. This is a very new for unlike the education system is, because it's been seen that in the earlier education system, if the students are not being able to complete the education within the stipulated time of 7 years or 8 years of the 5-year education of architecture, they were being given not fit for the education system, NFS, not fit for the education, NFTE, not fit for the technical education. So now we have the multiple entry and exit options are there. This is not because the students are not being able to complete. Sometimes the students have certain problems with that. They have got some employment and accordingly they can take an exit and enter into the education again. And by taking some credits also, he can join some other institution. So we have the academic bank of credit also will be established for those students, which will digitally store the academic credits from the various recognized higher education institutions, so that he can take some certificate, some kind of award he can take up from there, or he can admit himself into the different institutions also, depending upon his need and depending upon his interest. So there is an expansion of open and distance learning also to increase the gross enrollment ratio. Open and distance learning was already available in the system, but it has become more open with the availability of the online courses, such as various technology platforms are available, SWAYAM, MOOC, NPTEL courses. They will encourage a large number of students and faculty with a short span of time. And in the SWAYAM also, we have various kind of courses, online courses are available. MOOC, massive open online courses are available, where you have the Coursera and EDX systems are there, where you can, the teachers can upload their lectures and it will be beneficial for the students. They will give the flexibility to the students so that they are able to study those subjects and will be able to generate some credit in their favor and can offer the flexibility while they are doing some kind of job or some kind of other kind of interest they are pursuing. And national program on technology enhanced learning courses are also available. So accordingly, the students can join. So there is now flexibility in opting for the education system, which are open, as well as in the distance mode also you can gain education. That is the best part of this, best feature of this education policy. National mission for mentoring shall be established with a large pool of outstanding senior retired faculty. This is done so that the mentoring can be given to the students, as has already been said, to the dropouts or some of the other students if they really want some kind of professional guidance or some kind of guidance is needed by them, so that they are able to put them into the mainstream. Counseling, etc., can be done. So there is a need for the senior and retired faculty who can teach them into their Indian languages also and the different languages, and because of their experience, it will be very important if this mission is being created for the mentoring by the senior and retired faculty. This is the academic bank of credits, where if the student wants to take an admission from institution A and he wants the institution B, he wants to opt, for example, an SPA student, or he wants that the admission is to be sought in the IITs. So accordingly, I mean, if it is being, IITs are recognizing those kind of education, what is being already the courses which has been read by the student or been completed by the students, they will be able to get that redeem credits. Credits can be redeemed in IIT, and accordingly the education can be pursued further, and you can get IIT degree or the SPA degree. It depends upon the individual candidates how they will be interested. So UGC after a year also has already started with the transfer of the credits. Other features are equitable and inclusive education. Has already been told that education for all, even the socially and economically disadvantaged groups, should not be deprived of the education. So the scholarship options are also there, and the different type of education medium, for the universalization of the education, the efforts are on that they will be given the education in the different languages, Indian languages also. They will be used so that the education should become more equitable and inclusive. And the creation of the autonomous body as the NEP, National Education Technology Forum, so that this is a platform for the free exchange of ideas and the use of technology to enhance the learning, assessment, planning, administration, and appropriate integration of technology into all level of education. So I am sure all the institutions, they are in the process of creation of the NETF by signing some MOUs with the other institutions, so that they are able to create such kind of platform where there will be free exchange of ideas are available to use the technology in different ways. The presence of outstanding and enthusiastic institutional leaders that cultivate excellence and innovation is a need of the hour, and it is very important for the success of the institution and its faculty that the leadership has to be very effective and outstanding, and that is also is one of the salient features of NEP, that they have to be seen right from the beginning, and that if in case certain leadership qualities are available into certain faculty, how they can be taken into the how can they be taken to the given the leadership roles. Excellent faculty with high academic research and service credential. The faculty to be taken up, if they have the research bent of mind, or they are having high academics and the service credentials, how the leadership the leadership can be enhanced into them, and the management skills to be identified early, so that they can also reach to the leadership positions, and the fast track promotion is also required in case such kind of leadership is expected from the faculty. All fresh PhD entrants, irrespective of discipline, will be required to take credit-based courses in teaching, education, pedagogy, writing related to chosen PhD subjects to gain exposure to pedagogical practices, designing curriculum. All of them will be required. In this way, we have to change the curriculum for the PhD students, that they should also be taking up the credit-based courses depending upon the subject where they're pursuing their PhD. A robust ecosystem of research is important due to rapid change occurring in the world today. And if India is to truly establish its potential of its vast talent pool and to become again a knowledge society, it will require significant expansion of its research capabilities across the discipline. The overall education sector will aim to be an integrated higher education system, including professional, vocational education, the professional and vocational education to be integrated, so that all higher education institution, whenever the education is being pursued, the vocational education also should go hand in hand with the higher education system. As such, at times it's being seen, the awareness also becomes very important. It plays an important role. If we just look at our university students who have become a big COs in the different systems, uh, then the name of Satyam Nadella, who's a pass out of Manipal Institute, and from IIT Kharagpur, we have another GOCO, Sundar Pichai. Like we have certain people, they are the education system of India, but they have been excelling because of their passion, because now we want many students to excel. So in this case, the multidisciplinary will be very important. There should be change to be brought so that more and more people should be recognized in the world over. The notion of a knowledge of many arts, normally we say mathematics, science, vocational subject, professional subjects and soft skills. Often they are known as the liberal arts must be brought back to the Indian education system, as it is exactly the kind of education that will be required for the 21st century. So all of them should be combined together. Steps will be taken so that our gross enrollment ratio in higher education, including vocational education, it should increase from 26.3% to 50% by 2035. It's already been said. So it is very much important that we need to, first of all, make the institution as a multidisciplinary, make the system as an open and distance education, by through which the gross enrollment ratio will increase. And we have to make our different spectrum of universities should be there. They can be research intensive university which place equal emphasis on the teaching and research, and teaching intensive university which place great emphasis on teaching but still conduct significant research. Research anyways is very important for all kind of university education. Again, this is the repeat of the point that we have already discussed, multidisciplinary by 2030, so that they become the gross enrollment ratio become 50% by 2035. To increase the GR is also one of the basic essence of NEP. Single stream HEI will be phased out over time. So it is much important for the single stream institutes that they should become multidisciplinary by creating some more departments, and by creating some maybe the different institutes can club together to become a university system. Further, the present complex nomenclature of higher education system in the country, such as deemed to be university, affiliating technical university, unity university, shall be replaced simply by university, as was our ancient education system and what was world famous. When they fulfill the criteria as per the norms, they will be given the university status. So the single or the sole institutes, they will be phased out with time. We have seen India is facing the various challenges, such as we require clean drinking water, sanitation, healthcare, improved transportation, air quality, energy and infrastructure. It require the approaches which is not only dealt by the top-notch science and technology, but rooted in a deep understanding of social sciences, humanities, socio-cultural and environmental dimension, and will create high-quality interdisciplinary research across the fields. Assessment of educational approaches in undergraduate education that integrate humanities and arts with science, technology, engineering, and mathematics have consistently showed positive learning outcomes. We have seen in our ancient civilization, India, Mesopotamia, Egypt, Greece, and the modern era, United States, Germany, Israel, South Korea, and Japan. They are the strong knowledge societies that attained intellectual and material wealth in the realm of science as well as art, language, and culture. The most important factor in the success of higher education institutions is the quality and engagement of faculty. Teaching duties should not be excessive. It's been seen the teachers are very busy these days. First of all, another limitation that we are facing is that we don't have the adequate faculty available. And since now we want each and every student to be nurtured exclusively for every student, because the talent and the inherent characteristics is to be highlighted of every student, then we'll be requiring more faculty, and there's more challenge in the teaching systems now. And so that now there will be more research activities, so the more teachers will be required. We have to maintain the ratio also 1:10. So more teachers will be required to act, so that more and more teachers to be identified, and accordingly we need to bring them into the system, and so that the activity of teaching should remain pleasant, and there should be adequate time with the teacher for conducting research and other university activities, and the faculty to be given the freedom to design the curriculum and other pedagogical approaches within the approved framework, including textbook and reading material selection. So he should also be given some time so that he is able to read the different, he should be able to write something, he should be able to develop the curricular or the pedagogical approaches, or the research can be done by him. He can be act as a mentor to the students. Students from socioeconomically disadvantaged group require encouragement and support to make a successful transition to higher education. University and colleges will thus be required to set up high quality support centers and will be given adequate funds, academic resources to carry out all of this effectively. Toward this end, students will be given plenty of opportunities for participation in sports, culture, arts, clubs, eco clubs, activity clubs, community service, etc. So we have to think about that different type of clubs should be in place so that the students learn the different kind of activities, different type of skills that he learn. He learned the managerial skills by working in the clubs. The institute to integrate academic plans ranging from curricular improvement to quality of classroom operation. So the larger goal will be the institutional development plan. The mechanistic and disempowering nature of regulatory system has been rife with the basic problems. This is Higher Education Commission of India, which will be taking the shape in place of the various regulatory bodies that we have now in the system, because we have been facing the different type of problems, and there have been conflict of interest among each other with these regulatory bodies, and they are resulting in the lack of accountability. So the new essence of NEP will be the Higher Education Commission of India, which will act as an umbrella, and it will have the 4 independent verticals. So these 4 independent verticals are, the one is the Higher Education Commission of India. The first vertical is the Higher Education Commission of India. It will have, the Higher Education Commission of India. And then we have the second vertical is National Accreditation Council. And the third vertical is Higher Education Grant Council. And General Education Council is the fourth vertical. So they will have the different type of functions. The second vertical, which is the National Accreditation Council, it will do the accreditation regarding the education system, regarding the different type of features of that particular institute. That we know only accreditation is a big phenomena where a lot of things are to be seen, how the students are being mentored, how the counseling is being done, how the education system is, what is the course curriculum that is being started. So the second vertical is the National Accreditation Council, it's known as NEC. The third vertical will be HEGC, Higher Education Grant Council, HEGC, and it will be the third vertical which will carry out funding and financing of the higher education. And now NEP has also created its own national scholarship funding, and accordingly they will also be generating the funds with the help of public-private integration, and it will be looked after by the Higher Education Grant Council. The fourth vertical will be General Education Council, which will frame the expected learning outcomes for higher education, and it is also referred as a graduate attributes. What type of expectation and the outcomes of the higher education will be looked after by the General Education Council. Another one will be the Higher Education Qualification Framework, will be formulated by GEC, and this will be working in sync with the National Skill Qualification Framework to ease the integration of the vocational and higher education, vocational education into the higher education. So these are all different type of organizations will be working with the Higher Education Commission of India. Apart from that, the professional standing bodies such as Indian Council for Agriculture Research, Veterinary Council of India, National Council for Teacher Education, Council of Architecture, National Council for Vocational Education and Training will act as professional standard setting bodies. Their role will not go away because they will play a key role for the higher education system and will be invited to be the member by the GEC. They will also be the member of the GEC, General Education Council, and under that you will have the different type of professional standard setting bodies. Professional standard setting bodies will be there, and then functioning of the independent verticals for regulation, accreditation, funding, academic standard setting, and overarching of the autonomous umbrella will be HEICI itself, Higher Education Commission of India. That will be the overall umbrella body, Higher Education Council of India, and under that will be NHERC, and which will be accreditation will be taken up by the NEP. Regulatory body will be NHERC, and then funding will be HEGC, and then academic standard setting body will be GEC, and overarching will be Higher Education Commission of India. So this is how the hierarchy will work, and the initial all system will go away with time, and the whole of the thing is to be done to bring the transparency and the public disclosure, and the use of technology will be extensively used to reduce the human interface to ensure efficiency and transparency in their work. So this is all about the educational system and the various salient features now of the professional standard setting bodies and the regulatory systems and the various kind of academic standard setting, GEC, etc. And now coming over to the conventional system that we have in the BRs today. And we have 5 years are there, 10 semesters are there. This is a conventional system. What happens in the conventional system that after the first year, second year, third year, after the 6 semesters, normally there is no exit given as such, but in certain institutions, the exit is being given. But Council of Architecture has made it very clear in the regulation, in their Gazette notification, which happened in 83, as well as the second Gazette notification happened in 2020, as we all know. And as per that, the undergraduate degree was being given by certain SPAs, certain Chandigarh College of Architecture also. This kind of model is being used where the Bachelor of Building Science degree is being given, which is an undergraduate degree. And even US system, if we study, that they also consider, but they are, of course, the subjects for the Indian system are different, but the subjects for them are different because they are multidisciplinary. They are giving the Bachelor of Design. This is as per the US model, but in India system, Bachelor of Building Science degree is being given. It is not true for all the universities which are available, but it is true for certain universities because the Council of Architecture had made it very clear that the 3 years, after 3 years, you have the internship, and thereafter you have the another 4th and 5th years are available, which are important towards a professional degree. So this system is being it's been a conventional system which is present running, but now the next slide will be on the basis of the NEP. How do we translate the new education policy in the architecture and planning? So this is the conventional system, and then thereafter, after getting the professional degree, after getting the internship, because internship becomes very important for any professional degree, and then after completing the thesis, then the student become registered, they become capable of getting themselves registered for the COA and become registered architect. In case you want to do the master's degree, you can even master's degree you can do, and in some of the universities you can even go for directly for PhD depending upon your CGPA, depending upon how much percentage of the marks you have got. Accordingly, you can be given the PhD if you have some good research ideas are there available. Certain universities will give you the admission to PhD also, and you can become an academician either after your BR, or you can become a researcher, or you become a professional registered architect where you can practice. And another model is as per NEP and as per UGC, and in case you want an exit, because you have the multiple entry and exit system is available as is being told as the salient feature of NEP. After completing your first year, you will get a certificate after completing your first and second semester, of course. But we have to be very careful what type of vocational courses we need to take up here, what type of system we need to take up, so that the students who are available, who are exiting by taking some certificate, they are responsible for them, what type of employment they will be having in hand, or in case they want to shift it to.
I'm sorry, just so that I'm sure participants will have lots of questions, so that we do not cut short on the question and answer round. If you can just wrap up your, yeah.
Okay, this is the last, I think, few slides.
Okay, sure. It's a very important information, actually.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Vanna. So exit is available after first year. Exit is available after the second year also. After getting a diploma, you can get a diploma. In case you have passed out your first year, second year successfully, you can get a diploma. You can get a building science degree again. That's an Indian model. It is again the present system, but here you can decide upon the degree, what type of degree was available in the conventional system. But in batch, this remains there. In the European model as well as in the US model, you get a B design degree. And presently also we are giving the building science degree as well as the conventional system also it was available. Okay. But what is happening, this is the old system I'm talking about, but as per the NEP, after the 4 years, you are able to get the pre-professional degree until the completion of thesis and internship. You will not be given the professional degree. Pre-professional degree, you can exit here also. Here you can exit with the advanced diploma. You can get an advanced diploma as per UGC. I'm sorry, I missed it out. Advanced diploma after 3 years, and after 4 years, you can get the pre-professional degree, and you can get a as usual BH degree after completion of thesis and internship also if you really want to opt for that route. But the route is open after first year, after second year, after third year, after fourth year, the routes are open for you. And if you really want to exit and you even can go for the higher education system also for the master's program and for the different career options also you can opt for, as this is at par with the BTech degree where the degree is for 4 years. And accordingly, you can choose different career options. You can go for any kind of competition. You can, because you are having now different kind of skills are available, but we have to be very careful. Now the institutes must be in the making of the curriculum. So what kind of profession, what kind of skills to be given in the first year, what type of subjects to be given in the second year, what type of subject in the third year and the fourth year, so that they become capable of getting the employment, because the main essence of the NEP is also to make the people employable and to help to become the citizen, the national builders. And this is a professional degree again here. So these are the different multiple entry and exit systems are there. But in case you want to enter after first year somewhere in some other institute that has already been talked about, depending upon it will all depend upon where you are standing. Maybe one of the criteria can be in an NIRF, what type of ranking you have got. Maybe you are among 10 or you are among 50 or 20. So accordingly, your degree will be evaluated, and accordingly you will put the value on your degree depending upon the NIF criteria, or maybe the learning could be the criteria that is to be seen. Because I'm sure now we are in the process of making the course curriculum. So this is the time that we have to see how do we put up the contents so that we are making the students really employable. That is very important. Okay. And the last is in case you want to go for the MRch, and in case the MRch can happen even after 4 years also. See, pre-professional degree, but you can enter inside. You can enter even for the PhD, even for the master. You can go. You have the various higher education and career options available when you have got the pre-professional degree. You can go for the master's program. You can go for the PhD program. But in that case, some kind of research courses are to be taken up at the 4th year level so that you are able to opt for the PhD courses, right? And then in case you have been into a master's degree, you can exit by getting, after first year, you can get your postgraduate diploma. And after third and fourth semester, you can get your professional master's also at the level 2. So these are the various levels which are available, and you can again get a professional COA registration is available to you after your getting your third and fourth semester, and then you again become, because after fourth year you have not taken up the COA registration at that point of time, but now you will be eligible for the COA registration, and you can become either a researcher or you can become take up the PhD after your first semester, also after your first year, and you can become a professional. Teaching assignment you can take, researcher you can become a registered architect if you complete your PG degree. So these are the different options as per the UGC. It's been worked out for architecture curriculum, and accordingly the curriculum is in the making in most of the institutions. In our institution also we are in the making of the course curriculum. So accordingly we will have to be seeing it very carefully, that how do we construct our curriculum, how do we do our curriculum, so that we generate more and more people who are worthy of employment and who are worthy of making our nation proud and nation more developed. So this is the all about NEP. And any questions now from your end? And I'm sure you must be having, as Vanna has said, so you can come up.
Thank you so much, Minakshi. That was a very, very enriching presentation. And I particularly liked the way the presentation actually progressed from different education systems to limitations in the new education system to the need for new education policies. And some of the proposed changes are like multiple entry and exit points, introduction of online courses are very, very refreshing. So let's see, I'm sure participants will have lots of questions. So please come forward and ask your questions. We can take up 2 or 3 questions.
Should I stop sharing this?
Yes, you can. That is okay. Yes.
Yeah, okay.
So participants, you can unmute and you can ask your questions directly. You can switch on your camera.
Hello, ma'am.
Yes, Anubha, go ahead.
Yeah. Thank you so much for very innovative things you have explained, especially the last 2 slides. My question is based on that only. Multiple entry and exit. Ma'am, it is very if it is coming in matlab practical form, till now I have not seen this type of system. So will you little bit highlight it whether it is going to implement in upcoming university and which university? Because many of diploma students wanted to take architecture, but due to certain limitation they can't, especially civil engineer people. So my question is based on that only.
Are we talking to what is your name? Anubha?
Yeah, Anubha.
Acha, okay. So this is very interesting actually. Now NEP is based upon the multidisciplinary education and the different kind of models, and universalization of education is very important in the higher education as well. Education for all, but then what happens in the, now the world is changing. We are having the different type of ecosystem, knowledge ecosystem is different, the education ecosystem is changing, because of this it is not for architecture alone, it is for the exit for engineering branches as well. But as per the UGC framework, because this is the essence of the NEP, that you have the multiple entry and exit systems, right? Even you have the credit bank also, wherein you have opted for exit from some institution, and you can go to some other institutions of your liking depending on the courses which are being run. Maybe it so happens now we have to change the curriculum, but very soon we cannot do it. By 2030, by 2025, some of them have targeted, we have to ultimately do it because it's already been passed, right? So in this context, it is not only with the architecture, but it is always important, because architecture is a 5-year course. People sometimes they, your parents, or maybe some parents, they cannot afford to continue with the 5 years, so that you become, whenever the employment comes your way, whenever you have to learn something. Now there are different systems, as I told you, there are online, offline, distance education, there are a lot of flexibility is available already. If you see There are a lot of online courses where you can earn the credit also. So those credits you can always deposit in the bank. You can always deposit them. You can always get the benefit from one university, and you can give the examination, give the credit, take the credit. Accordingly, you can get a certificate. Maybe the flexibility in the education system is there. Whether you are there in the whether you are opting for the education to be there in the university itself only, or maybe you are outside the university, you want to get some other credits, and you can at the same time you can do your job. It is possible, very much possible, not only with architecture. The world scenario is like this, and even say the same scenario with the engineering disciplines and other disciplines will also go the same way. That's what I feel, because multiple entry and exit system is there. It's a very new thing. It's the essence of the NEP. It is very new, I agree, but this is to enhance, nurture each and every individual, their creativity. It's not that by wrongful means you have come to some other field, and after some time you think now this is not your cup of tea, now you want to change. You can surely change it. But in that case, we have to see that it has to be inclusive. The education has to be multidisciplinary, so that you can go to some other field. Maybe when I was studying the model of Australia and Melbourne University, there they said, even dance and drama, some civil engineering background, some other kind of backgrounds are also into their system. They have 6 faculties available for the first 3 years, and they give the undergraduate degree, and the PG degrees. They say graduate degree is a PG degree, and accordingly the people become postgraduate within 5 years. They become
Yeah,
postgraduate.
ma'am. Yeah, you are very right.
Graduate degree. So like that is happening already, right? But now in the system we have the multiple entry and exit system, which is already available in the model. In the it's at par with the other university model across the world. So I think it's very much possible.
Thank you. Thank you so much, ma'am. Yeah, thank you so much, ma'am.
Yes.
Ma'am,
So
I would like to ask a question.
Yes, Akita, just few questions are there in the chat box. So if you can we'll just take up those questions and then we'll come to you. So there is a question from Toshis, and other than that, there are comments. Very enlightening session, very informative session. Thank you for such a nice presentation. So the question is from Toshi. Thank you, ma'am, for such a detailed insight of NEP. NEP provides flexible opportunities for learners, which certainly have many benefits. But in the present time of digital technology, which is also a distraction for the students, do you think it can have some negative impact?
Actually, I think the students who are interested to learn something, they are interested. I am sure each and every student, they will be interested to learn something. If not education, then maybe dance, drama, maybe some other skills. It will give the option for all kind of employability chances. I'm sure each and every student, they have the different kind of characteristics, inherent characteristics. They have their own assets within them. They have their own potentials within them. So I'm sure they are able to do, if not this, then they are capable of doing something else. So it will be beneficial in that sense, if mostly the students become discouraged if they are not interested, or they are not passionate about some particular field. But if they're passionate in some other different field, that is also meant for them. So that is what I feel. It is
absolutely, because
if you are not okay, you will take a break for 3-4 years. Take a break. Some specific time definitely is there. If you want, you can rejoin the university. It's not that you have taken an exit, you will be exited forever. You can give many reasons to exit at that point of time, and then again you can join the same university or maybe different university. There are options are available.
Okay. So another question from Praveen Botu. Any NEP implementation timelines formulated by government/COA?
This is yet to be seen. How much time period you have to complete? I think there is no limit. It is like now lifelong learning for all of you. So we have to see whether we have to keep some limit. We have to keep the record also of certain students. Is it possible to keep the record forever? That we have to see the possibilities. Within that framework, we have to see how much years we have to give to a student so that he wants to come back to you, or he wants to pursue the education, but it's lifelong learning. That is what is the essence of it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So now we moving on to another question. It's ma'am wanted to know, this is from architect Navneet Singh. Ma'am wanted to know what will be the case for current diploma programs. They have different entrance tests.
Current diploma courses. Current diploma courses will be the, I think now, as I told, like, it will be university system. So current diploma, maybe they will merge up with some other kind of departments, or maybe they will also go for the higher education like this. Still, they will have the demand like this only, but we have to little bit make the changes in the existing diploma systems, and maybe they can merge with because each and every university, another essence is they will be offering the different type of education, diploma education, the PG education, the graduation, everything they will be offering under one umbrella. So I think the future is there for the present diploma also, because they have to join up with the other institutions. Even standalone medical education also, they are saying they don't think of some other departments. So all education system has to become multidisciplinary so that they become university system. The gross enrollment ratio is also the main essence, like we have to increase the enrollment also for the students. So accordingly, I think it will be planned out. Anyway, we have the time till 2040. The system will change. We have to bring, now all of us are in the process of doing it, bringing it. How do we do it, and how do we bring more and more disciplines? First of all, I think it will start with this. First of all, changing the contents, making the course curriculum, and accordingly, how do we make what is the demand of the industry? We have to see that also. So accordingly, I think the things will.
I think we will.
Good evening. Good evening, ma'am. This is Dr. I.P. Singh. May I just add a few points to the first question asked by architect Anubhav? I am from NIT Hamirpur, Himachal Pradesh. We have already adopted this particular NEP scheme in our institute. Senate has approved it, and the first student with the advanced diploma has already passed out. She has been given a diploma, advanced diploma in architecture. Now, what the plan is, NIT Council will adopt these type of things at the different institutes. Then the academic credit bank will be created, where the students who have been issued the certificate course or a diploma or advanced diploma, their credits will be deposited there, and whenever they wish to come back, so they can start from there onwards to pursue their B architecture program. But at our institute level, we have already issued one diploma to the student. This is what you were asking, I suppose, whether some institute has adopted this NEP or not. At our institute, we have.
Thank you so much, sir.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you to both the Professor Jains, Minakshi and Vandana for giving me a few minutes.
Thank you.
So already the institutions have opted for it. That's what I said. I said about SPA. They have already opted for from the conventional system. Also, they have opted the exit system. Now we have another institute, NIT Hamirpur, which is my university also. They have also the history of putting one student, two students out with a postgraduate diploma, and then there are chances for the same student to come back and to go to some other institutions with some other degree in case they want to accept her. That is also very important, because ultimately they also have to bring the curriculum like that, so that the students is benefited either in this institute or some other institute. Anyhow, he or she is having the credits with her, and the diploma is there. You can say it's a credit system. The credits are available, or you can say that it's available in the form of diploma with her. Okay. Thank you, Professor Singh.
So there are lots of questions, so but we have to now move on to our last question. So Arpita, you had one question. So if you can just quickly put up in 5 seconds, not more than that. Sorry.
Actually, the question has already been answered. The question was
Answered,
similar
okay.
with Mr. Praveen Botu. It was the same about the time formulation and a deadline that has been there. That was
Okay,
it.
great.
Okay.
Good evening.
So,
Actually,
yes.
I'd raised my hand, so that was a little while back. If I may ask a question, because I found that it may take some time to type it out. So actually, this is quite related. Good evening again, Dr. Minakshi. This is related to vocational training, which I think is what the emphasis the NEP is putting into which has been missing somewhat in recent years. And earlier, you even had the National Diploma in Architecture, where draftsmen could come and finish the course and become architects. And I think this option where, people who are in vocational jobs have the option of coming back and actually getting a professional degree at the end of it. So the entry and exit options are really good in terms of the NEP and the flexibility that is being shown. But I really don't know as to whether this is actually the case. If you look at the part-time courses which have been there in many universities earlier, they seem to have been abandoned, and the preference is now being towards the full-time course. So there is a slight conflict in that.
Yes, but NEP says that, like, you can have the distance learning mode is also possible, where you can have the weekend classes. It was abundant. I agree with you. Yeah, it was there. Like, even in our university, we used to ask whether you are full time now or whether you are distance learning. No, we cannot take you. But now NEP says, like, flexibility is there. It is offering flexibility, and I'm sure it will be very much useful for those students who have gone some point of time without, getting major chunk of it, and then now probably will be very useful. Even I remember, I can recall a student, the student who was, at the final year of architecture in SP Vijayawada. He had gone 4 years back, 5 years back, without getting any degree. And then he came back once, ma'am, you are giving degree after 3rd year. And we gave him again, gave a degree of building science. But we now at this point, we also think, whether building science, whether it will be useful for him, because, building science, I don't know whether it is being recognized by AICT or not. So far, we have not thought of. We need to think about, because the students also need to be employable. They also need to be useful for the society, for the nation. So we have not to give that type of degree which is not being useful for a nation.
As you rightly mentioned, I think the curriculum content is very important for each year.
Yeah.
To give the viability of whatever is being awarded at the exit each year. So as to what that person can actually do,
Yes. That is very important. That is actually, while looking at the curriculum, it's very, very challenging. Making the curriculum itself will be very challenging. I'm sure we have to take the help from many individuals, maybe from the industries, maybe from other institutions, but it is to be done. That is also.
And the other conflict that I find is also in the nature of the multidisciplinary institutions which are actually being encouraged. I'm working in a multidisciplinary institution myself. And at one point in time, the Council of Architecture required the architecture department to have a separate campus.
Yes.
Almost like a standalone. But this really would give a little bit of a problem to standalone institutes which are there, which need to become multidisciplinary over a period of time. So I think there is some difficulty that will be faced in that. And also the fact that I find also the larger the institute or the more privatization that comes into education, I think the monetization of education, so to speak. In that situation, I find the merit begins to, play a secondary role. Could you comment on this?
Yeah, that we have to think about that also probably. Yes, I think the private will also be given the equal importance only here. It's not that only they will be under the government system only, but all the private education system also will be supported with the funding. That is also another thing. I'm sure, that problem is going to be there, monetization of education and those kind of things. But I don't know. Now they are asking us, as per the NEP, like, create your own funding, scholarships also, etc. It can be through the public-private partnership. Maybe partially it can be given by the industries, or partially it can be given by the government directly. So I think that kind of, that will be
Definitely.
there. Yeah, of course.
Yeah. Definitely.
I think we are at the last leg of the session. So I will have to cut this short.